Today we're looking at 7 lyrics that will get you back in the driver's seat of your life, hitting the Braveheart button so you can start living the carefree life you've only ever dreamt of. With the lyrics in question tapping into our innate desire for freedom, you'll no longer be influenced by guilt trips or heavy-handed advice from others. Now I know that freedom's a charged word, so let me clarify, this won't feel like an American freedom rally. Instead, these lyrics will make you stand up for yourself, so if anyone tries to tell you how to live your life, you'll reply, "It's my life, don't you forget it." And fingers crossed I don't belly flop into the hypocritical waters that is sharing advice about seizing your own autonomy. Now, as there's more than 7 lyrics about this topic, I'm bound to miss some good ones, so feel free to let me know your favourite songs that make you want to grab your freedom by the reins. So with that out the way, let's get to the first lyric from the man I can't stop including in these lyric videos, John Lennon, from his song I'm Stepping Out.
If it don't feel right, you don't have to do it. Just leave a message on the phone and tell them to screw it. After all is said and done, you can't go pleasing everyone, so screw it.
Now, John has a lot of lyrics about holding on to his individuality and shunning outside pressure. I could have easily picked other songs like Watching the Wheels, but this one has the edge for how infectious his unapologetic attitude is. I also wanted to include it because it was one of the last songs he recorded, so it's a great lasting message of his life's wisdom of maintaining your own individuality. With the first line, if it don't feel right, you don't have to do it, John's reminding you that no one's holding a gun to your head, and there's no shame in backing out if it doesn't feel right. You know yourself better than anyone else does, so go with your own instincts over an onlooker. To quote Oasis, who we all know were heavily inspired by the Beatles, "I need to be myself, I can't be no one else." Jumping to the third line, after all is said and done, you can't go pleasing everyone, so screw it, John is relaying the sobering truth of growing up, that people won't always understand what you choose to do with your life, so you might as well give up trying to please everyone as it'll never work. If anything, if you're being praised for something, that suggests you're not living authentically. To quote the German philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche, so long as men praise you, you can only be sure that you're not yet on your own true path, but on someone else's. Along the same lines as the next lyric, by the always upbeat lyricist, he said sarcastically, Morrissey, from the Smiths, with the song Heaven Knows I'm Miserable Now.
In my life, why do I give valuable time to people who don't care if I live or die?
We've all thought this at least once, right? Caring about people's perception of us, people who we don't even like, vying for some approval or acceptance so we can fit in. It boggles the mind how much weight we put into people's opinions. If I had a main regret, it would be how much importance I put on other people's judgment in school. Even embarrassing moments, like when I got a concussion from running full speed into a pillar concealed by a curtain in the lunch hall in front of everyone, would have felt like an inescapable event at the time, but now I bet no one would remember that other than me. So these opinions might not even be based on reality, and it could be imaginary standards we're creating and imposing on ourselves. So back to the line, that makes giving valuable time to people who don't care about you appear as even more of a waste of energy. So let's all take Morrissey's advice, in the confines of this song, not necessarily his politics, and seize the limited time we have, not living in other people's perceptions of you, but focusing on what feels right to you in the moment. Next up is my favourite on this list. It's the verse from Life's What You Make It by Mark Hollis from the band Talk Talk.
Love's what you make it, don't backdate it, don't try to shade it, beauty's naked.
Starting with the titular phrase, life's what you make it. What he's getting at is that you get out what you put in life. Another way of saying this is life is a state of mind. Both forms hit on the point that it's up to you how you want to live your life. You could live it in slow motion, in quiet appreciation, or too fast that the wheels fall off. Or you could live it being told what to do, following a path already laid out, or you can carve your own path. What's for certain is that you shouldn't let the world pass you by. On to the next line, don't backdate it. This phrase is advising you to not cloud your judgment by living in the past, but live in the present. I know that's cliche, but hear me out. With us often embellishing the past to make ourselves look better, it becomes an enticing place to return to. This is what Hollis means with the next phrase, don't try to shade it. Sometimes the truth is so bright that you want to dim it, and playing projections of the past can shade you from it. We can even make less flattering memories familiar enough to us that returning to it can feel like home, albeit an unpleasant one to be in. But as the Christian adage goes, you don't have to hold on to pain you left behind, so good memory or bad, both are diversions that take us off-road and will lead us to questioning our judgment. The core message of the song then is to face reality directly, without filtering the truth so you're seeing what you want to see. The final line, "Beauty's naked," emphasises that memories can't compete with the rawness of the present. True beauty is found in embracing the imperfections of life. To end this section off with a line by Leonard Cohen, "There's a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in." Number 4, Julian Casablancas, The Strokes, with Under Control.
I don't wanna change your mind. I don't wanna change the world. I just wanna watch it go by. I just wanna watch it go by.
With this one, the context is that Julian's wanting to leave a relationship that's expired way past its shelf life. Now, with this being about a failing relationship, it might not seem worthy of this theme of freedom. I might have overshot the runway here, but being in a relationship you don't want to be in is similar to being in prison, in that both make you want to go full Braveheart and fight for your freedom. Going through the lines, he doesn't want to change her mind. He knows that he could change her mind if he wanted to, and they'd remain together, which, arguably, that makes it harder to stick to his guns, as at any time he can back out and the other will stay. He knows he has to make the first move and stick with it. On to the rest of the verse. In wanting to leave the relationship, all he wants to do is to watch the world go by on his own terms. You could say he's romanticising his freedom, as many do when they want to leave their relationship, but I don't think he is in this case. Although the call for freedom can be a signal for commitment issues, all he wants to do is go back to normality, living a simple life without feeling under control. See what I did there? Sorry, I'll see myself out. On to number 5 with Blur from Damon Albarn with There's No Other Way.
You're taking the fun out of everything. You're making me run when I don't want to think. You're taking the fun out of everything. I don't want to think at all.
Looking at the context of the song, Damon's singing from the perspective of a young person rebelling against their teacher who's taking the fun out of everything. It's a desperate cry to hold on to his childhood and play forever. But as he gets to the chorus, he concedes that there's no other way. All that he can do is watch them play. So this means he has to pass the torch to the younger generation, and he can't live eternally as a child like Peter Pan. But in the same breath, this doesn't mean you have to hand over your childlike spirit at the door of adulthood. So we should resist taking the fun out of everything, and to quote the Russian writer Dostoyevsky, you must love life more than the meaning of it. I realise how hypocritical that is, me saying that 5 lyrics deep in analysis. Let's just plough ahead and look at number 6, Neil Young with Everybody Knows This Is Nowhere. Quick context for this verse, Young is longing for the simple life and wants to get out of the rat race. Anyway, here's the lyric in question.
Everybody seems to wonder what it's like down here. I gotta get away from the state of day running around. Everybody knows this is nowhere.
With the context of what Neil's talking about, he was living in Southern California at the time, lamenting on the emptiness of the music industry and how he was cluelessly chasing success, expecting it to fill what he was lacking. Living in a busy area, running around is normalised, and like headless chickens, we're cluelessly running on empty. But as this Paul Simon lyric asks us, how long do you think you can run that body down? Although rushing gives the illusion of important activity going down, he concludes that everybody knows this is nowhere. Number 7, Ray Davies from the Kinks with Got to Be Free. Some context, if you haven't listened to the album this song's from, it's about the narrator leaving the music business to be free, and the song I picked is the closing track where he's finally ready to be free. Have a listen.
Well, I gotta be proud, stand up straight, and let people see I ain't nobody's slave. Well, I gotta be free before it's too late. I just gotta be free.
I feel like over-explaining this one would dilute the message, so let's keep it brief. Starting with the second line, and let people see I ain't nobody's slave, Davies, like Young in the last lyric, is also bitter about the constraints of the music industry, resenting how he signed away his freedom after being convinced of false promises. He knows that if he doesn't leave now, it'll be too late, and as the last line simply states, it's not complicated, I've just got to be free. Likewise, with us, it's also that simple, it just takes awareness. Anyway, this section stopped being brief 3 sentences ago, so let's leave it there. Thanks for watching, and if you want more where this came from, check out my overthinking playlist to quiet the noisy mind. See you next time.